Hello and welcome back to Film Smart. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Fox Disney deal, the
Mhm.
acquisition, or I should say the Disney Fox deal, the acquisition of many Fox properties by Disney. We're also going to discuss some of our favorite films, TV shows, whatever from this year, and then what we're looking forward to in the in the upcoming year. So, Josh, as we know, Disney just last week did a deal with Fox that allowed it to acquire six. It was I think altogether $66 billion when you take the money that it took to acquire Fox, the money that it put up front, and everything. It was $66 billion to get all of these Fox properties like Avatar, Alien, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and I think that what fans are talking about the most are X Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, because they can now be. Disney said they will now be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of them, and I think the main reason they were that was just a small part of the Disney deal. I think the main reason Disney's doing this is to put their franchises, all these add franchises to their streaming service because they're trying to be competitive with Netflix, and they're opening that in 2019, so they can have a bunch more adult uh, side of their streaming service that would have things like Family Guy, The Simpsons, Alien, uh, you know, even Avatar to a degree, more adult themed things, Deadpool. I think that eventually they'll move their Netflix shows, which are very adult, like Jessica Jones and Punisher and Luke Cage, over to uh, their streaming service as well. So, what are your thoughts on this deal? Do you think that it's going to go through the government? They said it's going to have like an 18-month government scrutiny process to make sure that it doesn't violate any antitrust laws. But they worked very hard to make sure that it wouldn't do that. Bob Iger and Rupert Murdoch. So hopefully, well, I don't know, maybe not hopefully. But what are your thoughts? What do you hope
So
happens with this?
this isn't the James Cameron Avatar, is it? Are
Yes,
we
it
talking
is.
about? Okay. Then I'm actually excited.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I kind of don't care for X-Men to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Mm-hmm.
or for Disney to produce it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I mean that it'll be cool if they do, which they definitely will. Like,
Yeah, they said they were even going to have like an R-rated movies like Deadpool and all that. They said they're willing to do that. So
yeah, like that's very cool. But from what I've seen so far, I'm kind of already. I mean, I'm getting a little bit fatigued of. I mean, if they break the mold, really though, with
hmm
what they're doing with their current cinematic universe, though, then I think I'll have renewed interest. But I kind of get a sense of deja vu every time I'm in the theater, and it's almost like clockwork when the jokes come in, and then when like the central conflict happens, and then the fact that I'll be like, this is the same exact character.
you know their formula is what you're saying
Yeah,
basically.
and I can just, I mean, but it wasn't that apparent to me until I remember it was when I saw Doctor Strange that I just felt like I was just like, this feels like a really like easy bake oven movie. Like it just felt like mm, it was too formulaic. And that's why I was so
I,
bored throughout the whole movie. I was like, for a character that's so mystic and out there and can be explored in so many ways, it was just boring.
That's
But
fine. I had such a different view. That movie really, I really enjoy. It might be one of my favorite MCU films,
it didn't
actually.
tell me at all on any type. The practice of magic was really not I just thought it was not well thought out. I thought it was boring. I thought even just the side characters that they used, I was like, this is uninspiring.
Hmm.
And then
See,
by
I
the
was
and then
inspired.
I don't care about Stephen Strange at all. Maybe because I even watched the animated movie and still didn't care about him. But
Yeah, maybe you don't like the character.
yeah, I was like, oh, well, I really thought I would like Doctor Strange, huh? And then
See, I what I took away from it was just I didn't care as much about the magic either. It was just the message of the film of it not being about him, of him having to. He was such a selfish person, and he had to sort of deal with that and become a better person. Is what kind of what I took away from the film more.
anyways,
Whereas I think it's a great film, Josh. I know, maybe I think the visuals are really great when he first meets the Ancient One and she throws him. I mean, that was unlike anything we've ever seen in an MCU film.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wasn't sold. But
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
well, yeah, with that movie, that was the first movie that turned me like to where I was just like, okay, well, maybe I'm just over this. Like, because DC was already putting out bad movies, and then after watching those, I was just kind of like, okay, well, losing hope.
Mhm,
And then Civil War was also not. It didn't sell me completely either. Whereas it was
mhm,
funny because Winter Soldier still blows me away to this day. But
mhm.
um, but with the whole Disney Fox deal, I think it's interesting because well, number one, the most excited thing that I heard when you were talking when you were giving that rundown was actually Avatar.
How why is that? I'm curious.
Believe it or not, I don't remember because I remember I have a memory of like childhood. My family didn't go see movies that often, so when we did, it just felt like a big deal to me. So like, because I remember when I started seeing movies a lot, that was when I was with you. So that was like that's when we would see movies. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, my parents didn't take us to go see movies like that. And I remember two of the movies that I remember seeing, and I remember going to like premiere or like the opening weekend was The Dark Knight and Avatar.
Mm,
I remember thinking The Dark Knight was so cool, but it was so long. I
mhm,
remember being in the theater like, oh my god, this movie is long. And then Avatar, I remember actually just thinking like, I want to live on Pandora.
mhm.
And to this day, like I still watch old scenes. Like it's not even a great movie or anything. But for some reason I just love it. And I just love the idea of it. But I'm actually excited because I didn't want any of the sequels or the plans for the sequels to be like I know
Sort
Disney,
of.
I don't know, I just didn't want it to fall apart. And I feel
I
like
think that you must have broken up, Josh. I missed some of what you had said before that.
I just it was I didn't want so with I was saying I was worried about the sequels because I didn't want any of them.
Oh, okay.
And when Disney has something though, I might not like some of their formula, but I can't say that the movies exactly are bad. Like they're not bad movies. They're just I'm just used to them. I think that's what it happens to me because I'll just be like, well, okay, well, I just feel like I've seen this movie, and that's not a
Well,
bad. Like the stories are still being told well, and I feel like if I wasn't so like into the comics and I've already known so much about the characters, I wouldn't be underwhelmed when I see like a story I already know. But
yeah.
like with I trust them to make a solid movie. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool that they're gonna do X-Men, but I did kind of like the Fox flavor on it. Like,
Mm,
especially when Fox did it right, like when First Class or with Days of Future Past and stuff like that. Like when that studio, like when Bryan Singer, when they were able to like make a good movie,
mhm.
it was good. Like it was actually good. It was something I was excited to see. And um I mean, it is interesting. I just do like the thought of variety in like the studios and their like the different teams that studios have or are associated with
Mhm.
and distributed. Like this, just the way that films could even look or feel, just because of who's making them, who's producing them. So, I mean, I'm excited for the characters to live on with Disney, but I also kind of enjoy the fact that they were with different people. Whereas Fantastic Four can go, it can
Well,
go I don't care where they are, regardless. But the X Men, as long as well, they did say they are willing to make the rated R, but that's not really what I was concerned about because my favorite one isn't rated R. So, well, my favorite X
but
Men, not my favorite X Men universe movie,
mhm.
but because I'll say Logan's actually my favorite universe one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because that's what I was worried about, that we wouldn't get movies like Logan or New Mutants or something. So I like what they did a really good job with First Class and Days of Future Past. But I like what they kind of started with experimentation with Wolverine, and
yeah,
then they did with Deadpool and Logan and New Mutants. So it's kind of I'm liking this. I'm liking this experimentation that they're going down
yeah.
this route, and it really has worked well for them, I think. So, and I hope New Mutants is good and Deadpool 2 is good, but I think it's obviously been very profitable for them, and I mean Logan is being looked at as a potential Best Picture nominee. So
Great, phenomenal movie.
yeah, so I think that's working. And I would say with the in terms of the Avatar, you don't really have to worry about the team because James Cameron's working on he's shooting the movies right now. He's four sequels planned, and he says
So
that they're all self-contained stories. So
yeah,
if the second or third one doesn't make a lot of money, uh, they can sort of cancel the franchise if they have to. But they have the team around them, I think. So you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. And this deal has 18 months before it even potentially before it could even be agreed upon.
yeah,
So the first Avatar sequel I think comes out in 2020. So 18 months from now, it'll almost be 20. It'll be the middle of 2019. So
That
I don't think you'd have to worry too much about that.
Well, that only worries me because the first Avatar isn't perfect. So
Well, that's true.
that's why I was relieved because I feel like Disney has that the fact that they're not afraid to like put their foot down with a franchise
Mhm.
to be like, we have a standard. Like, like even
Yeah.
Star Wars, they really like were like, these movies aren't going to be bad. They're not that's just not in our vocabulary. They've never experienced that emotion. But like,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm saying, because they do take remaining the top like I feel like they take pride in everything that they own. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm like, I'm excited for that fact that regardless of what we get, even if I'm not that excited, I'm like, well, it's gonna be good. They're gonna preserve the culture of like
Yeah.
us having good superhero movies, us having compelling stuff. Because I'm like, I definitely love a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Don't like when I might sound like I don't like. I'll be like, well, that's only like 3 movies that I don't really love.
Yeah.
So I was like, I love the other ones, and so what I'm saying is just like I'm excited that I almost feel like there's a dependent like I'm a confidence being instilled in me now because I'm like, you know what, Disney usually has it together. So I'm excited for the fact that we're pretty much guaranteed great movies from
If
this
they
point.
do have a formula, there's a reason they have a formula.
Yeah,
So,
because it works.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's working for them, obviously. And then um the only downside I really thought was that it is interesting when there's things that are outside of the MCU because it does have a completely different feel. Like,
Hmm.
but I'm open. Obviously, change is a good thing for the most part.
But then I say with the X-Men, when you look at the Marvel Netflix shows or the Runaways, which is on Hulu, those feel like totally different things,
Yeah.
even though they technically exist in the MCU. So what they could do
Even then,
is
though,
what.
the MCU does have moments though where it's like they don't show the gore, but it's pretty like it's the material itself could be rated R, as like where the story
Yeah.
could be taken. Like the fact that they're dealing with people who are murderers, like when Winter Soldier is controlled. Like I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
if they all they would have to do is just have him actually kill people, like and let us see everything happen.
Well, there's a scene in the movie where Alexander Pierce kills his maid. I mean,
Yeah,
that Marvel definitely goes to dark places. Winter Soldier, the first Iron Man 3 deals with PTSD. I mean,
yeah. I'm like
darker
they're
things.
by no means like a Nickelodeon show. Like they're not Disney Channel. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, they're still their own studio. Yeah.
I'm not worried about them doing like non-dark. I just think, yeah, sometimes Fox just did get it really right with Logan, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Disney can do that too. If they know there's at least they know there's an audience for that right now.
Yeah, because now they've seen that
Yeah,
Logan and Deadpool make money.
yeah, they know there's an audience, so that's why actually my worries are gone. Like there's an audience for R-rated, for gore, for like totally, and it Logan calls for it. So
Yeah.
like it's not like we were just watching it; it was uncalled for. Deadpool even calls for it too. I mean, it might be uncalled for, but that's part of his character.
Well, yeah, you
But
can't do Deadpool without like the raunchy
yeah,
comedy.
that's part of it. Yeah, and I'm like, they're not just making R-rated X-Men movies so we can see Wolverine chop people's heads off. That's not the point. Like
No.
Logan had to be an explosive ending. Like, and it was very like it had to be cathartic.
And it's important because there were scenes in like I remember X2, which I love, one of the best X-Men movies, where he stabs someone and like in the chest, and there's no blood. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
at some
noticed
point
that.
you gotta go like, this doesn't make any sense.
I noticed that a lot actually. Yeah, I just realized
Yeah.
that even when he stabs Jean Grey, nothing happens.
Yeah, like they're great. Well, The Last Stand is horrible, but a lot of their movies are great. But there were just scenes where did he actually kill the guy, or I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, listen, did he just go through a vest? Maybe.
He just stabbed through his chest, and the guy's just fine, or at least he's
Yeah,
not bleeding out.
I just hope. Yeah, I hope they preserve. Well, actually, and the X-Men is in a weird place though. So
What do you
it's not
mean?
like they're preserving anything. They're most like I feel like do they have plans to have a movie out within like the next 2 years?
Well,
Other than,
they
like
have
Deadpool stuff?
next year. They have New Mutants, Deadpool 2, and X-Men: Dark Phoenix.
I'm kind of blown at that, but
Because I mean, they were planning to do these movies anyway. The deal just sort of kind of came up.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
wasn't.
what I'm hoping, what I'm concerned about is that I don't want any of those movies to happen.
You said you don't want them to happen.
Yeah,
How
Apo-
come?
Apocalypse was awful, and the new cast sucks. But like,
Well, I don't. I couldn't care less about Dark Phoenix, to tell you the truth.
that's why I said I was
But
like, that's why I was just kind of like, that young cast, like the whole young part is played out now. I only cared
yeah,
about
like I was fine.
I only cared about the young cast
Uh,
at first because they were mirrors of the old one. That's
yeah, but the movie itself was poorly executed. I mean, I
yeah.
liked the First Class and Days of Future Past, but now that they brought in these younger people with Apocalypse, it just kind of lost my interest now.
Yeah, and almost all of the choices just didn't connect with. I don't know. I was just like, these just don't connect at all with me.
Yeah.
And then mm, with New Mutants, is that so? I haven't actually kept up with like the plans for those because after Logan, I was satisfied with that being kind of the end to everything. But because I heard there were sequels, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Well, New Mutants has no connection to Logan, as far as I can tell.
Okay, good.
Uh,
But does that mean it's like a reboot?
no, have you seen the trailer for it? Actually,
No. Oh, there's a trailer.
yeah, it came out in like October. It's a horror movie, is what it is. Actually, that's
Huh.
why I was talking about it being like because Logan's like a western and Deadpool's like a raunchy comedy. But
Yeah.
the New Mutants, it's like if you watch the trailer and if you hear people talking about it, it's actually a legit horror movie
So like, what?
that just happens
What
to deal with
in,
mutants.
in the grand scope? What does that do?
Like though is with Deadpool and Logan and New Mutants is that there isn't this grand scope. It's just making a interesting movie. So I'm kind of okay with that because especially now that Marvel's going to get the rights to X-Men and all of this, that now that there's these movies that don't really have much to do with the greater universe, like Deadpool and New Mutants, that and Logan, that these movies are getting released late in the game,
Mhm.
because X-Men's about to come to an end with Fox at least, that these are getting released late in the game. And so when they don't have much to do with like any overarching cinematic universe. So I'm okay with that actually.
I'm I kind of just want X Men to end where like as far as what it is now, but because I
It's
was kind
too
of like
late now because those movies are all in the can.
I know that's why I'm like I was ready for
Because
like I was ready for Disney to start something because I don't want them to like I don't want them
yeah,
to pick up where somebody else already was like where they left off. I don't.
probably reboot. They haven't confirmed this or anything, but
Yeah, that's what I want. I want a complete reboot. I don't want anybody we've already seen.
no, I
And
think after this year, this is the last we're gonna. The only thing I think is going to get carried over is Deadpool because Deadpool doesn't really connect to the X Men that
yeah,
much.
it doesn't
So I
matter.
think he fits and he can make fun of the deal and everything. So he'd be like, "Oh, I'm with different X Men now" or something.
That'd be so
So,
funny. He's like, well, look, now I can mention Captain America.
yeah.
Or
So I
something.
think, yeah. So they should just Ryan Reynolds was born to play that character. Throw him into the MCU. Don't recast him. That would be the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah. And then
Want to
um
recast Wolverine and Jean Grey and Mystique and all this? That's fine.
what
But
potential do you
it's
think there will be for Storm to ever show up in Wakanda?
about justice like Cyclops and Storm. So I'm really open to that. But I'd say let Deadpool be its own thing. And then I don't New Mutants. Who knows? Maybe New Mutants is like really not connected at all, and you could almost just throw it into the MCU. I mean,
Maybe.
I don't. Who knows?
I'm thinking what potential is there for Storm to be in like Wakanda?
To be with Black Panther, you
I'm
said?
saying no, just to be in Wakanda. At this point, I don't know how old they're gonna make the X-Men. I don't know. She could already be older, and she could have like because the Black Panther will have already come out. So I'm just like,
Well, they're going to have to come up with some way to like make. How do you explain how mutants have been around?
yeah, because I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. So I'm like, maybe are they gonna make them? Well, no, because either way, if they tell the story at all, mutants will have to have been around. Oh
Yes.
God. Uh,
Well, because like the Marvel's answer to not having mutants was the Inhumans, which was
yeah,
like okay on Agents of Shield, but then they made this show, The Inhumans, which was awful, and it was supposed to be a movie. So that was mistake number one. I don't know why they didn't just make a movie about it.
maybe they did. Maybe they
But
knew,
whatever, they didn't make a movie.
but they already had all the stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm
But what
just
did you say? You said maybe what?
I said maybe they just knew it wasn't going to be like good enough to spend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm with X-Men, I am excited to see like because they do share like like with the whole Storm and Black Panther thing. A Storm
Yeah.
Black Panther movie would absolutely rock.
Hmm.
Like that could I mean that could be no because we've never heard anything about mutants, so there's no reason for them to have just been in hiding. Like we haven't heard any legislation like the Mutant Act or something like. Dang, there's
I
really
think there's a couple of things that they can do. One thing they can do is mess with the Reality Stones in Infinity War, Doctor
oh
Strange,
yeah, bring the X-Men. What do
and
you think they would
just
do that?
I think there's a good chance. I'm not saying they're going to bring in the existing characters that we know. They kind of meld two universes together, whether on purpose or on accident, and that's how mutants are in now.
And
Uh,
how do you think that I don't know. I think it'll create. I'm actually excited because it'll create interesting dynamics with like the X-Men, the Avengers. I don't know, just like that.
Fantastic Four.
The different types of heroes are out there. Like the X-Men are almost discriminated against,
Hmm.
I want them so desperately to keep that like to keep that kind of dynamic. I don't know for some reason like they were afraid of Hulk because Hulk can really not be controlled, and then Thor was never really a problem for them. He wasn't even trying to spend that much time on Earth. But with
Yeah.
like Iron Man's human, Captain America's human, Black Widow's human, Hawkeye's human. So I'm just sitting here like, so they have so many human characters, and then Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver is dead. But um,
Or just Quicksilver.
so yeah, I'm just saying like, I'm just like, how are they going to? Because I'm thinking it's interesting, like, how are they going to have that dynamic of like how the X Men could be almost treated differently?
Hmm.
Because I mean, even some of them look very bizarre. Like they,
Well, you know the.
hmm?
Oh, sorry, what were you about to say? I was just going to say
Oh
that
no, you can go.
they toyed with the idea on TV, like the Inhumans are discriminated against, and then on the Netflix shows, there's an episode where Jessica Jones is like about to get killed or hurt or killed by this woman who like toyed with her during the episode, and she blamed her because her mother or someone close to her died during the Battle of New York. And so she, even though Jessica Jones had nothing to do with the Avengers, she was mad at her because she's one of those superpowered people. She's one of
Mhm.
them, is what
And
they kind of say sometimes.
I think that's an interesting like dynamic to have, especially because the X Men won't be able to. They don't get to take off their suit.
Hmm.
Like a lot of them, yeah, their powers are very like they're gonna have them.
Yeah.
Like they don't get to turn that off. They don't. Captain America can put away his shield. I guess. I mean, he's always gonna be strong, but like he can be shot and killed. But
Yeah, you could totally shoot him.
yeah, I was like, which that'll be. Oh, the assassination of Captain America. Oh, I would cry my eyes. If they ever had that, I remember reading that comic book panel when he shot. Oh my gosh, I cried. But like, would I tell you that if Captain America was ever assassinated in the oh my gosh, and the way that Agent but when she was holding him in his arms and he was just bleeding out. Oh my gosh, I would. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I hope that with whatever they do. I mean, I know Marvel, Disney, and all Marvel, they'll find a way, obviously, to they probably always had a way to explain it in the back, just in case these characters became available.
Yeah, because that's how they dealt with Civil War. They didn't know they were going to have Spider-Man for sure, but they always had a script ready if they did have Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So I'm sure they've had for years evolving different scripts of if they brought, because Fantastic Four will be totally very easy to bring in. You just say, oh, these people had a, you know, bad experiment gone wrong or whatever, just anything you could say, and now they have powers.
Mhm.
That's easy to explain. It's the X-Men that make it hard because the X-Men bring on the whole load of mutants having existed. So you have to do like the reality thing I was saying, where someone came up with this idea, and I don't know how I feel about it, but it's possible. Is like Charles Xavier sort of muted knowledge of the mutants for like a generation
I was
in
actually
people's
gonna say
minds.
that. Like, is there a way that Professor X used Cerebro to like
Yeah, like
keep the mutants out of the war, like out of this whole thing with the Avengers, and like I don't know, just keep
yeah,
because they weren't. Because I mean, it's possible that like he could have been like, well, these are a lot of my students are children.
hmm
I don't know. Maybe he could have. There could be some type of good, and the other X Men just don't feel like it's that time. I don't. But then at the same time, why wouldn't they be in Infinity War? Because there's no way that they would just stand still during
Maybe
that.
the explanation is like not only did he mute people's knowledge of them, but he has the power to like stop them from using their powers.
Maybe I don't know. There has to be
Because
some
a
type
lot
of
of the
make him really twisted.
yeah, and
Like,
maybe like some of them thought they were Inhumans or something, or
oh,
I
yeah,
don't know.
humans, and then that'd be cool. And that's why he like rounds up the mutants again. He's like, no, you're a mutant.
Yeah, you're not an Inhuman. Like some of them are Inhumans, obviously, and then some of you aren't, and that could be an interesting dynamic too. Like we're all kind of freaks. We're Inhumans. We're mutants. Or in Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and Jessica Jones' case, they're like human mutates. That's
Man,
another term.
I love.
So that's
They're genuinely like just. It's there's so many stories to tell that are just amazing.
yeah. I mean, it's really I was always sort of like X-Men can be in their own universe or whatever,
I
but
really think they could too. No, no. Even now though, even now, I really wouldn't even care if they weren't. I mean, it'd be weird if
yeah,
Marvel
like
was produced and didn't have them connected, but like
yeah,
I don't know. There's so many characters. I was like, well, they don't necessarily need to be connected for it to be any more interesting.
yeah.
But
I don't know. Now that I know that now that they've said they're going to be part of the universe, I would be disappointed now because now I'm getting excited about like seeing, Wolverine talk to Iron Man or whoever.
I wonder if they're gonna try to build some other characters, or if they're gonna like keep the Fox agenda of making Wolverine seem important.
I think I've heard news that they're like really excited about recasting Wolverine. I don't know if that's true or anything, but I've heard some of that,
It's
and I
like
think yeah, I don't know exactly which ones they're going to focus on. I hope they do Cyclops. I hope they make Cyclops like the leader, and I hope they do him and Storm justice because I thought they were both pretty
exactly.
terribly realized in the old ones.
I was saying I was like, well, there's so many characters that I think had so much potential, and they're even if Wolverine never existed, like I don't know, Wolverine was just he's just not what they make him out to be, and I feel like he was always taken like as the golden child, and everybody else's expense, and
Yeah,
and that's why it kind of it did frustrate me a little bit that they had to focus on like one when the whole thing's called X-Men.
yeah,
But
he was the golden child.
and I'm just like, okay, well, there are like 100 other mutants. We can have a story about somebody else.
Yeah,
And I just, especially if we get to see like something with Storm and Black Panther. Ugh, I just want to see how she gets like banned from Wakanda.
yeah.
And then,
I mean, it would be cool to see like a Black Panther 2 or 3 deal with their
yeah,
relationship. That would be interesting.
because yeah, Storm, she could be what I mean. I don't even remember why she gets cast out, but I don't. It was something
Yeah,
that
I was just reading a comic with her in it, those two, and I can't remember what exactly their
that's so weird.
situation
I
is.
can't remember. Yeah, what happened. But she seeks refuge with and then finds her place with the X-Men. And then that would
Hmm.
create some
Yeah,
tension between Black Panther and Storm when they're both on different teams too.
yeah.
And then, do you think they would ever do X-Men versus the Avengers?
People keep talking about that. I don't know.
I don't
Who
think they would have
knows?
heroes just
I
fighting.
mean, that would be civil war to the billionth degree.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious though. I think
That could be
I would like.
interesting.
I would gladly have them do a cartoon version. I just want to see how that would go down.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool. And I don't know if this is going to make for the best story, but it would be cool just to see like one shot of the Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Defenders from Netflix, all like, and the Guardians, all in one shot,
Hmm.
take on a legion of villains or whatever. I mean, it's I don't know if that makes for the best movie, but in the
Yeah,
comic book fan, if he
they would
thinks that
have to
that would
focus
be
on
cool to
so much.
look at.
Oh,
I don't even know if you could just bring it in quickly. Like you don't like not everybody has to have like a speaking role or anything. It could just be
yeah,
like oh look, there's Daredevil. Oh, there's Colossus or someone. It would just be cool to see like the whole major Marvel universe taking on some villains.
it'd be cool.
Part of me wants to see that.
It'd be cool if any of the X-Men ever showed up on like Netflix, like some of the low levels.
That would Josh, that's a perfect idea actually, because now that you have the mutants and stuff, and I don't know why they haven't done this with Inhumans. They're so stupid sometimes with that, with the way they deal with TV. But I don't know why they don't do this with mutants, where that would be a perfect idea where you would throw like I don't know who's Nightcrawler, put him on.
He could
Uh,
easily pop up in anything.
yeah, because I think for one, Ghost Rider was on Agents of Shield, which means Ghost Rider is in the MCU now, and Blade is being teased for Agents of Shield. So he's probably going to be get his own show. So why not
Okay,
put
but
these guys? Huh?
that is weird to me. That like
What?
somebody like Blade, and then I remember I watched some of the Ghost Rider stuff. How do they exist and not become like main? Like, like how are they not called on?
I don't. How were? I mean, when you think about it, how were none of the Defenders called on in Civil
Yeah,
War?
to yeah. I'm just like these people are known. Like these people have powers or they're
Yeah.
skilled. Like they wear costumes. They're known in their communities. Like you, Tony Stark obviously knows who these people are.
Yeah. There's no way he doesn't know about the Devil of Hell's Kitchen.
So I'm sitting here like, so we're just gonna act like none of them matter.
I don't know. I think at some point they might team up. Maybe they're trying to lie to us, and they'll New War or Avengers 4. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I don't even need that. I just would like, why not every once in a while you would throw Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie or make a reference to the Punisher. It's like it's almost like they're going out of their way to not connect them. Like
Mhm.
the shows will make connections, but it's almost like the movies are
Are real.
like actively trying to not say anything about the TV shows, which I think is bizarre.
I can see if the shows weren't huge successes, but they're all really successful.
Yeah,
So
everybody
maybe
likes
not.
Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Because like I watch a lot of YouTubers, and actually, weirdly enough, so many people have been talking about Punisher.
Hmm. I
I
love
was
the
like,
Punisher
wow,
show.
I didn't know that that was like as popular. Because I know a lot of people, and then I know a lot of people who don't talk about it, but have just watched all of the series.
Hmm.
I'm like, it's not like they're unknown or like. I mean, I understand that it's hard to like. Not everybody has Netflix, but I mean that's really insanely popular, and anybody who's like into
Yeah,
pop probably has Netflix. But it's I guess it's difficult to put a TV show into the movie, but at the same time I'm like, well, Daredevil could always like pop up in New York, like I mean in a Spider-Man
yeah.
for a second.
And actually,
Like
his contract says that he can do that. All of their contracts, they sign a contract that says that they can appear in the movies if they're called on. The hard
yeah,
thing is putting the movie actors in their TV shows sometimes because
yeah.
you're going to have to pay them a lot.
So that's why I
But
was
that's
like,
why I said just put the characters on in the movies.
that exactly. That's what I'm like literally just have Daredevil be in New York and have something like it doesn't have to be a team up movie. He could literally just
No.
they're in the same city, right?
Yeah, that's the other weird thing. It's like they're all in New York.
Yeah,
So
but I'm like, it might not be the same part, but like, come on now, you're superheroes. I know you're gonna overlap a little bit.
you're telling me that when Thanos attacks New York, like that's shot in the scene in the trailer, that none of the defenders are going to do anything about that?
Maybe I think
Really?
they have to be deceiving, like, or this
Yeah,
is
like
gonna be like an entire season about what they were doing at that
well,
time.
that's what I was gonna say. If you're not gonna put it in the movies, put it in the show. For I mean, it's just I'm really getting angry now
Yeah.
because sometimes now the shows don't even talk about it that much. Like in the shows, they don't show the Avengers Tower, and the Jeff Loeb was like, well, it's because we try to show that the Avengers or whatever, like they're kind of in their own space of the New York, and it doesn't really matter. Or he gave some
So,
really BS awful answer.
aren't like as big as we think, like, or as like I don't know.
Huh?
I'm saying, is he trying to say that they aren't as like important as we think, or
I think he's trying to say like he was trying to give some BS answer about how like they're having their own experience or whatever, and they're different. I, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a horrible answer, and it
yeah,
was so it was just you really couldn't put the tower in. I mean, they're saying they're in the same universe. Make them in the same universe.
that's so
And
insane.
it's just bizarre because so if they don't reference this Thanos thing, like what's happening in Infinity War, then I say to just separate them now. Like say for good. Don't to me from my perspective they'll be dead to each other. They'll be two separate universes. If
Yeah,
they don't make reference to Infinity War and what's going on, if we're talking about like a year or two from now, and Daredevil season 4 or Jessica Jones season 3 doesn't reference at all the Infinity War thing, uh, they're separate universes as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me how you couldn't reference that. He literally is attacking. All they ever reference now is the Battle of New York. Really, you had nothing to say about the Sokovia Accords?
Literally everything, like, everything has happened, and
You have anything to say
whatever.
about the Inhumans?
I think actually I don't know. I think I actually need to watch all of the series,
Hmm.
and then but I'm afraid to get invested now because I want them to all be connected.
Well, the thing is, the only reference outside of the TV shows to the movies where something referenced the TV show, like Agents of Shield referenced one of the Netflix shows, because there was an event on season 2 of Daredevil where the Punisher attacked a biker gang,
Mhm.
and they were all like, I think their place blew up, and he murdered a bunch of them, and Daredevil fought them too. And it showed it was on a ticker on one of the news channels in Agents of Shield, and it referenced the bike gang. So that's
Yeah.
the only time that something other than a Netflix show has referenced a Netflix show.
Is it?
And Agents of Shield is very connected to the movies still. So
Yeah. Do you think it? I was gonna say maybe it was because like the defenders aren't powerful enough, like for them to be like,
people say that, but then I say,
but like
well,
yeah,
Luke Cage is
Hawkeye.
bulletproof.
Yeah, but like yeah, you see characters like Hawkeye and Black Widow. Like
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, well,
I've never. That's not a good argument, because sometimes people say, well, they're not powerful enough. Really, Luke Cage isn't powerful enough.
yeah, if
Has
he
a super strength and can almost fly. Uh, the Iron Fist isn't powerful enough. Uh, no, I
even
don't
if
think that's not valid.
he's just fighting off aliens, like it'd be cool to see them.
Yeah, just take off some of take. Even if we're just seeing a quick shot of them helping some people, if that's what they have to resort to. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Whatever. I guess yeah. Robert Downey Jr. would
Marvel.
ask for $50 million for his voice to be in the movie, to be in the TV show.
Well, yeah. See, I don't even bother with him or Chris Evans or Scarlett Johansson. Just put one of the. Just give a quick shot of Mike Coulter, who's Luke Cage, or John Bernthal's Punisher, and put them in Spider Man
Yeah.
or
Well, I'm gonna get,
Avengers.
they
Or
could get. I bet. I wonder if Anthony Mackie would be too expensive for them to just throw in an
I
episode.
mean, there's a couple of Avengers who probably could. You could probably throw Jeremy Renner into one of those
Yeah,
shows.
like I'm like honestly, Jeremy Renner, Anthony Mackie, who else? Paul Rudd. I feel like he could just be
Yeah.
what? Like I feel like that wouldn't be that
And
hard.
even I would have said Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, honestly,
No,
no, honestly, Elizabeth Olsen wouldn't be too expensive.
but it's her powers that are expensive.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, we
So if
need
you're
to
going to throw her in the show,
because like with Falcon, Falcon doesn't even necessarily need to be flying around. I think he's cool, like just talking,
no,
or even they could just have him using his drone.
yeah,
Like, why don't they just have him doing that, using his like,
yeah.
yeah, drone? I guess that's what I already said what it was, but just have him doing that.
Hmm.
I mean, I was gonna say like War Machine,
Yeah.
but remember what happened to him. So
Well, he's flying around in the trailer.
oh yeah, right. Well, I guess, and plus, why would he be in just? He's like a government. Why would he be trying to just talk to random people? Yeah, he would. They would need to send somebody lower. Spider Man.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe now what you brought up with the X-Men thing, that can bring in that can sort of open that up, where they start putting mutants.
The Charles
Uh,
tries to recruit them.
yeah, or even something small like Nightcrawler helps out Jessica Jones in episode 5 of season 4.
Yeah, it could be really random.
Like
Rogue randomly gets lost in New York. She's like doing something in New York. I don't know, in the city.
comic books are always like bringing characters together and they're teaming up and things. So I just you have all of these characters. You basically have you have your entire universe.
You have the
Why
entire.
wouldn't you?
So
Huh?
I said they have like their entire comic book lineup.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Silver Surfer. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, now they're they're trying to focus on the cosmic universe. Now they have Galactus and Silver Surfer, so yeah, they've got that down
No,
now.
but the Silver Surfer's not going to be able to fight Thanos or help him at all because it's going to be too late.
Yeah,
Dang! I want to see
unless
the
they
Silver
can
Surfer.
work the deal out before Avengers 4 and can add a couple of scenes into it.
I hope. I really want to see the Silver Surfer come out of nowhere. That's the only way he can be introduced, honestly, is just to come out of nowhere.
This deal will be approved if it is approved by the time there's a Guardians 3. So we definitely could see like a reference to Galactus or Silver Surfer by Guardians 3.
How do you think they would realize Galactus? Because I was like, people would have issues, but I was like, well, they're not going to have a giant floating dude in space.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. Maybe they won't do anything with him. I'm not a fan of Galactus, so I don't really care.
The Silver Surfer can exist, but I guess he
But
he does
without him,
better as a herald. But I don't know.
well, I don't know. Make him a herald of something else. Galactus has always been a dumb character to me. He
They
looks
could make him
stupid,
one of, they
and
could
then
always make him one of Thanos' grunts.
I guess
Make him somebody that, but I don't know. He might be able to fight Thanos too easily. So especially
Silver
if he,
Surfer.
yeah, I was like, especially if he can defeat Galactus, I don't think that Thanos would be able to just control him.
Yeah, but Galactus doesn't have those Infinity Gems.
That's true. So maybe Thanos does have control over the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I mean, if he has the gems, he's controlling. I mean, for one, Thanos is a mutant alien on his own, so he already has abilities. But then you add that with the reality and the time and the
I wonder
I
if
don't know, what are the other stones?
I can already tell
Space.
I'm probably gonna cry when Vision gets the stone taken. I mean, just looking at the scene made me like tense up. I don't know why
Yeah,
I've been weirdly emotional in superhero stuff recently because I
it's
mean,
all
it's
culminating.
like I feel something for them, like as if I knew them. Like
Hmm.
I was literally like, wow, they're dead, like they're gone.
Yeah, I don't think any. Vision is probably our best bet, but and maybe Hawkeye. But people are talking about Iron Man and Cap. I don't think they're going to die. In
Yeah,
fact, Iron Man is shown in some set photos with Pepper at a funeral scene in Avengers 4. So someone is dead, but that could be a death from Avengers 4, but whoever is dead, it's definitely not Iron Man. I think there's a good chance that Steve Rogers dies,
hmm
but I'm hearing a lot of talk about that.
I think I'd be happy with that actually.
I would be okay. I mean, it's sad. He's one of my favorite Avengers, but
Yeah, but like I almost need
uh,
it.
that
Like, like
yeah,
those things
like
happen.
because the thing is, if Vision, yeah, if Vision dies, I know you said you'd be emotional. I personally wouldn't care that much because we've only seen him in a couple of movies, so I don't really have like any connection to him.
Well, I would think it would be sad because I would think, what would that do to Tony? Like, Vision is very much. I mean, he says he's separate from Jarvis, but he very much. We have been with him. Like, and
Yeah, I
then
guess in that way.
because I don't know for some reason I feel like in it, then Tony has like this response. He brought life to this, and
Yeah.
it's almost like his own child being killed for existing. But I don't know. That's why I was thinking, like I would care because Vision never had a chance to be himself. But
And it's interesting is in the trailer, it looks like Spider-Man. In the early trailer, it's like Spider-Man's like, I'm sorry, and he's on the ground and Tony's holding his hand. It looks like Spider-Man might die. Obviously, we know he's not gonna die. Or if he does die, they're gonna bring him right back to life. But
yeah, which
you know,
I was gonna say why don't they could just die because if anybody has the time gem, they can just go back in time.
well that's the other thing. Yeah, they could just do that. Well they actually in fact there's shots for Avengers 4 which shows that they are using the time gem because they're going back in time to the first Avengers movie.
Uh huh.
And they're showing them going back in time to that. So I don't know exactly why they're doing that, or what, or Thanos is chasing them through time, or whatever. But
Parts anymore, right? Like it's just 3 and 4.
yeah, well, I don't know what the title is going to be called. They might backtrack, but yeah, they said they were changing it.
Okay, because I'm like, so is it still dealing with Thanos or
Well,
like?
people keep saying, well, Thanos is going to be a part of it, yes, but people keep saying it's going to be called like the Secret Avengers or something like that, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be that because that's kind of. I think it's going to be pretty connected to Infinity War, still.
Yeah. Look, how would you not be?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a new character like Captain Marvel is
which I
going to
cannot
be in
wait for. I love that idea. Just I need to see her.
because her movie takes place in the '90s,
Oh, really?
and it comes out 2 months before Avengers 4, and that's going to be dealing with the Skrulls. So she's going to be in the '90s, and Nick Fury is going to be in that. And I think what they're going to do is bring her from the '90s to now, because if they don't, they're going to have to age up Brie Larson 25 years or 26 years. Which why wouldn't you just get a 50-something-year-old actress then? So they're going
Yeah.
to bring Brie Larson back to now,
Hmm.
and that's they're going to be using the time stone for that. So yeah,
Wow.
or maybe they won't use it. Maybe she'll just be in space, and you don't age in space. Uh, depending on where you are in space, so she could just be kind of left out somewhere. I mean, if she's going to be fighting the scrolls,
Yeah, I think Captain Marvel's cosmic, so
yeah, she's expanding that cosmic
yeah,
universe.
like, she can definitely go far out. She doesn't need to be on Earth.
Yeah,
I'm actually so
so yeah,
excited.
I think
I thought she was so cool in the Avengers cartoon.
yeah, I used to miss when she was Miss Marvel. I used to love her on the video game. Ultimate Alliance 2. I used to love playing as her. She's insanely powerful.
Yeah,
So
especially when doesn't she like become like all energy or something like
I
it? She
think
has
she can do
a
something
second
similar
form.
to that.
Yeah, she has like a second like an ultimate form or something where she'd be like becomes pure energy and gets it
Mhm.
like can fight the Hulk.
Yeah, yeah, she can go toe to toe with Thor and Hulk and big players like that.
Oh, I can't wait because I want to see a girl beat them up, which means I
Yeah,
should.
so I'm really excited with what they can do with Cosmic, with Guardians and Fantastic Four and Captain Marvel and Silver Surfer, and then with Earth, the X Men, hopefully tying that to Netflix more.
Hmm.
Iron Fist could do something really cool with Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, or someone. You know,
Hmm.
uh, I don't know, but I don't know. I just wish they would expand it. Obviously, we ended up talking about this a little longer than we planned, but
Yeah,
there's so much to talk about, really, when you think about it.
it really
And that
is.
was just the Marvel stuff.
Ooh,
Uh, so really, we're just talking about how Marvel's putting the nails in the of DC's coffin. But
yeah.
really, what this conversation's been about.
I mean, it's not like DC didn't like. Never mind. Let me not make that joke.
What?
No, I'm not. I just said DC did it to themselves. Yeah.
No, yeah. Wow. Well, that's actually sneak peek to another podcast. But
Yeah.
so real quick before we go, what are your? We're at the end of the year now. What were your favorite things that you saw in
Um,
theaters or television, whatever?
Logan was my favorite. Was probably one of my favorite movies. As far as movies that came, I watched a lot of movies that
Mhm.
didn't come out this year that weren't like relevant to this year.
Yeah, but so yeah, ones that were relevant to this year.
So yeah, I was like, Logan was my favorite movie that I watched this year. That was from this year.
Yeah, me too. By the way.
Yeah, TV wise, I don't really watch TV, but uh,
Mm.
I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. So actually, I don't really have anything.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a list because I've seen quite a few this year. So my favorite movies, I think I have like a top 10 or 11. So here they are. Logan's my favorite. Um, then Blade Runner 2049 is another one I loved. Um, Lady Bird, a great one.
Mhm.
Um, Dunkirk was another excellent picture. Um, Spider-Man: Homecoming, I really loved. Out was one of the most layered, interesting films I've seen this year. I really loved Get Out. Um, I thought Split was a lot of fun. I don't know if that would I put that in my top 10. The Florida Project was another great one. The Disaster Artist, about the making of really funny. Um, I'm not even counting anymore. Detroit was great. Wonder Woman was a lot of fun. Uh, Mudbound was a good movie on Netflix that came out. I just saw a French film called Raw, which I think technically came out last year, but was kind of got more traction this year. So whatever. That was really interesting film about teenage cannibalism. Um,
Hmm.
it was really weird. I'm trying to think of what other movies. Um, that might be all. I'm still looking forward to seeing like Daniel Day Lewis's upcoming film Phantom Thread because I love his work with Paul Thomas Anderson in There Will Be Blood. Um, I'm looking forward to still watching. Well, I'm kind of looking forward to All the Money in the World. Trying to think of there any other. Oh, Star Wars. How did I forget Star Wars? Is the one I loved. That's probably in my top three. Would be Logan, Last Jedi, and 2049.
Mhm.
Um, and then a movie, my most anticipated movie of next year is the Avengers: Infinity War. So
Okay.
that's and yours is Black Panther. You said,
Mhm.
yeah. So I know we sound like a bunch of Marvel fanboys now. And you
Yeah.
know what? I am a Marvel fanboy and a DC fanboy. I love both. But
Yeah.
DC's hurting. So let's be clear.
Yeah, we're just going where where we have to at this point.
this one of them is being really good to us. So I'm gonna stick with the one that's good to us. All right. Well, that's I think that was all we had to say for this episode. Like I said, the next one we're going to talk about DC's issues. Was there anything that you wanted to add, Josh?
Mm-mm, no, that's it.
Okay. Well, you guys know to like, subscribe, comment. They film smart.